So I was scrolling through the Ultra Hard Badge List Reborn, a game that houses the hardest badges on Roblox. And I was looking for a challenge to try out when I saw something that piqued my eye. It was a badge on the second tier of difficulty that seemed to resemble the Harbinger from Pressure. I decided to try it out since I had previous experience with the Harbinger, and I made it decently far in some practice games. But nothing could prepare me for what came next. Welcome to Pressure Practice Place, a simple game with a simple objective. Keep the cursor in the circle to maintain your stamina. Simple, right? What if you added 500 different mechanics in there? Because that's the challenge I'm attempting to beat today, known as Final Act. This challenge takes the cursor in the circle mechanic and throws every single stop it possibly can in order to stop you from beating it. I've placed timestamps for everything that I'm planning to cover in the description, so if you're looking for a specific part, check it out. But I would recommend watching the whole video to get a complete grasp on the challenge. But before I get into Final Act, I'm going to reunite with an old friend. The first step to beating the Final Act, at least for me, was to beat its base game's counterpart, the Harbinger. Also known as the Death Angel, the Harbinger had its own sub-community in it for a while, as its difficult challenge drew many to its deftly grasp. Sadly, after YouTuber Loose Logan defeated the Harbinger, the minigame was lost to time. Oh wait, it's recovered here. If you want to beat the Final Act, I would recommend at least trying the Harbinger first, as this challenge provides a lot of helpful training for what's in store in the Final Act. The battle will not be easy either, as Harbinger will bring out many attacks in order to stop you in your tracks. I might as well give a quick rundown of this encounter phase by phase, so you can have an easier time actually beating Harbinger. So let's begin with Phase 1. The white hitbox will be moving, so make sure to hover over that. Phase 2. A red hitbox will be introduced. Do not hover over it, or your stamina will drain faster. Phase 3. The hitbox will start to periodically go invisible. This is completely up to RNG, so pray to the Lord that you get lucky. Phase 4. This is when the real game begins. The hitbox is the size of your cursor now, so there is a lot less leniency. Be ready for more precise aiming. Phase 5. A new red hitbox is introduced. Not much I can say here. Phase 6. Another red hitbox. Also, they go faster. Yeah, that's practically it. Phase 7. This is a big one. Your stamina bar will go completely invisible and you have no way to tell what stamina you're on. Stay vigilant and don't sell now. You're on the final push. And after 3 minutes of chaos, RNG, and getting completely screwed over, you've done it. Congratulations. You've beaten the Harbinger. Now, obviously this is not a Harbinger video, so I'm not gonna go in depth on Harbinger. Mainly because 1, there are a lot of guides out there already, and 2, Harbinger is not the focus of this video. Despite that, I feel it's appropriate to showcase my own attempts on Harbinger, because the way I actually beat Harbinger was, well, it was interesting to say the least.
Log into the school again.
It's been a hot minute. Okay. I'm dead. Wait, what? This is Fast TV. Dude! Look at my screen! Oh, dang.
Nice.
Wait, what?
Alright, bro, you can't get a
What?
single stop. I want to get my get back on him.
What? I
Oh,
won!
okay.
Wait a minute. Pause. How exactly did I win that? Well, if we look at it slowly, I did, in fact, lose, but at the very last second of that match, I got to the winning phase, or phase 8, which is basically just saying, hey, you won, congratulations. Listen, I'm just as baffled as you are, but I'm personally going to take what I can get and accept this as a win. But with Harbinger out of the way, it's finally time to get into the meat and potatoes of this video, aka... As I stated in the intro, Final Act is no joke. It takes all the mechanics from Harbinger and cranks it up to 100, with harder movements and more mechanics. Thankfully, I'm here to give you the tips and tricks you need to know in order to survive Final Act. Let's start with the phase rundown, just so you get an understanding on what you're up against. Phase 1. This is basically Pandemonium. If you've survived Pandemonium before, this should be easy. However, your stamina goes invisible frequently, so keep that in mind. Phase 2. This is just Harbinger Phase 1, moving the hitbox around the screen. Phase 3. The first red hitbox is added. Just stay away from it and you will be fine. Phase 4. I like to think that the real challenge begins when the hitbox size changes. And that's exactly what happens here. Along with that, the second red hitbox is added. A lot gets thrown at you in the first minute, much unlike Harbinger. So be prepared. Phase 5. A new mechanic gets introduced, that being generator puzzles. Time your clicks to prevent your stamina from draining even further than it already is. Phase 6. One of the most important phases, at least in my opinion, because this introduces the Yellow Hitbox. This acts as a secondary hitbox you have to manage stamina with in tandem with the first. I'll go more in depth in its own section, but this is the roadblock for most people. Phase 7. This phase introduces white hitbox invisibility. I already explained this in the Harbinger section, but what's different here is that now you have a yellow hitbox you can gravitate towards when the white hitbox goes invisible. Also, the red hitboxes are ever so slightly larger. Phase 8. This phase shrinks the yellow hitbox slightly. Not to the extent of the white hitbox, but precision is still required. Phase 9. The red hitboxes move at instant speed and occasionally might move slower. This one doesn't really change much in terms of gameplay, but god, this took me so long to find. Phase 10. It's subtle, but noticeable. The white stamina bar goes completely invisible past this point, so there are no more visual indicators for how much stamina you have, or if you're hovering over the white circle to begin with. You're close to the end. Keep enduring. Phase 11. The colors of all the hitboxes change. For this, I would recommend looking for the sizes of each hitbox rather than the colors. This is the final 10 seconds, so I would not recommend selling the run now. And finally, after 3 whole minutes, the final act concludes, and hopefully, with you as the victor. Now, as you can tell, there's a lot to manage. 2 different stamina bars, red hitboxes all over the place, frequent generator puzzles, and periodic invisibility on top of it all. So I'll start going over the original Harbinger mechanics, and build up to the new stuff, so you can easily beat the final act. First things first, among everything else in the challenge, there is one key aspect you have to overcome first. Mouse movement. In Final Act and Harbinger, mouse movement works differently than you would typically expect. Your mouse will get thrown around, and the sensitivity feels really high and sort of slippery. To counter this, I changed a few things. I lowered my mouse sensitivity to a slow but not snail-like speed, and I made my Roblox window smaller to compensate. This makes it so that I don't have to move my mouse as far, and I can focus on precision rather than speed. Granted, this strat has its downside, and it may not work for everyone, with the major downside being that if the screen is insanely small, the red hitboxes will be able to cover the white hitbox, which I'll go more in depth on in the next section. So, for window size, I would recommend keeping it at around 1/4 of your screen, rather than keeping it the smallest size possible. This helps a lot with mouse control and precision, which you will need for everything else. I would also recommend using a timer in order to get an understanding of where you are and to prepare for upcoming phases. When playing Final Act, it can seem like some mechanics are throwaways, and the red hitboxes are one of those deceitful mechanics. Granted, it can be as easy as dodge the hitboxes, but sometimes those hitboxes won't play nice. At certain points, the red hitboxes will cover up the white ones, forcing you to tank stamina. Depending on the scenario, different actions could be taken. If the red hitbox is covering less than half of the white hitbox, go for it. And if it's covering more, it would be a good idea to either wait it out, or divert your attention elsewhere. The more hitboxes means the more often this hitbox covering will happen, and its frequency also increases the smaller your window size is. This is the major downside of keeping a really small window size. So don't be surprised when you die because red hitboxes are acting like white hitboxes bodyguards for 5 billion hours. The final of the Harbinger's main mechanics is the invisibility of the white hitbox. Ideally, when the white hitbox goes invisible, you should have a full stamina bar, but that won't always be the case. To optimize the chances of high stamina, prioritize the white hitbox over the yellow one. When it goes invisible, you should either focus on the yellow hitbox or just waiting it out depending on what time it is. Granted, trying to look for the hitbox while invisible works, but I personally wouldn't recommend it because of how many red hitboxes there are at the moment, and the risk of the yellow hitbox tanking stamina. As for the stamina going invisible, all you can really do is hope and pray that you're on the high stamina. Not much I can really say here. Now let's get on to the first of the Final Act's original mechanics, that being generator puzzles. Take everything I say here with a grain of salt, because it's possible that the gen puzzles are going to be changed in the future. Anyways, on the surface, this appears to be another throwaway mechanic, but it can be a do or die in some scenarios. The gen puzzle is a timing minigame with a 3 rotation timer. If you time it correctly, you gain a little stamina on the white timer. If you miss, you lose stamina. Another thing to mention is that when the white hitbox is invisible, the gen puzzle will gravitate towards the yellow hitbox instead, and succeeding on the puzzle will increase the stamina of the yellow hitbox rather than the white one. But failing will also lose your white stamina, meaning it can be a savior or destroyer when you're on low stamina. Something that might be confusing is that during the minigame, the white hitbox goes red, implying you cannot interact with it. This is wrong, as you can interact with it just fine whether or not the minigame is active, as it is only a visual change. According to the upcoming changelog, succeeding in the minigame will lead to a full recharge and a slight recharge of the yellow stamina, and losing will make the hitbox go invisible. I think these changes are fairly balanced, and I think the trade-offs are good, but it also feels kinda easier? This is just my opinion though, and I'll wait until the change is released to see if it actually is easier. Now, this is probably the most important part of the minigame, that being the yellow hitbox. Now, I touched on the yellow hitbox in almost every segment, because it is that important. But what makes it so important? Well, this hitbox has its own designated stamina bar that you have to manage in tandem with the first, making sure that neither drop to 0. Now, realistically, if both stamina bars have the same rate, this challenge would probably be impossible. But thankfully, the yellow stamina bar loses stamina at a slower rate. Now, the main strategy I use to counter the yellow hitbox is to make sure the white hitbox is full before going for the yellow one. I like to do this because the white hitbox loses stamina faster, and therefore, if the yellow one is prioritized, well, you can probably guess what happens. I usually find myself using a pattern of filling the white circle, then going for the yellow one for one cycle, and then returning to the white one. This cycle will probably break if either hitbox is covered or if the white one goes invisible, so in that scenario, I just like to go for any uncovered hitbox. Long story short, managing the yellow hitbox in tandem with the white one is like a Tamagotchi, but instead of pressing a button, you have to pray to the RNG gods so that you can even get a sliver of stamina back. And And that's really everything about Final Act that I can really talk about. In my personal opinion, this challenge feels like if Harbinger had more gimmicks. And me personally, it's really fun. Like in the Harbinger section, I'm gonna finish off this section with a little montage. Because the way I won was even more shocking than my Harbinger win. Okay, just so you can see what I'm talking about rather than me telling you.
That is actually so, oh my god. The sound of
What was that? Oh my, of course the one where I forgot to put my timer on! New record! So wait, I just feel like, if I already see that's strong, like, part of their art is really strong.
the SAP Mobile Task Force Security Department scientist plans the
Bro. Oh my god! I have no idea where that went. I'm probably dead here. Yeah. Deadass. Oh my, oh!
Most streamers on, you're using Twitch, right?
No, I'm streaming on Discord. I don't really stream. Oh my god!
Wait, you beat it?
I beat it!
Oh,
Where is the badge? So, obviously, we have a problem. Usually, when you win the game, a badge shows up around the 3 to 5 second mark after the run. But that didn't happen this time. Turns out, I actually lost on the last frame of the match and died because of it. I'm genuinely shocked that somehow I got a frame perfect loss on Final Act. And it's so ironic too, considering my Harbinger win was frame perfect as well. Not to worry though, as unlike Harbinger, this time I ran it back. And not 20 minutes after that, this happened. I wasted that. Oh my god, I wasted that so bad. God, I hope I have enough. Where is it? Oh god, oh god. Oh, I did it! There it is! Finally! There it is! There it is! Oh! And that is how I beat Final Act. This was probably the hardest challenge I've done in a hot minute, but I personally enjoyed this challenge a lot. I hope this video can at least encourage someone to try this, as not only will this be worth your time, but it's also on the ultra hardest badge list, so it'd be nice to score one of those badges. Be warned, this challenge requires a lot of good aim and RNG, so best of luck to those who wish to try it. I would genuinely recommend checking it out, along with the game it's from, Pressure Practice Place, as the challenges they make are actually pretty fun, and more are being made as we speak. Plus, it's niche. Anyways, that's all I gotta say. So, good luck challengers, and Glitchmonger out. Well, that's finally over with. Hopefully, that's the last twist I gotta deal with. Man, I deserve a break after all this. Oh, damn! I think. Okay, so. Where is it? 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 Come on. Wait, is it supposed to be here? No, right. Oh, yes! I have it! I have it! I have one of the hardest badges on Roblox! Woohoo! Oh my god, I can't believe I did that. I actually cannot believe I actually pulled that off. I am actually so proud of myself for this. I actually have one of the hardest badges on Roblox. Heck yeah.